This is Camilla Arujo, and she's just one of the hundreds of girls online making millions in what seems like the simplest way.
But today, we're gonna pull back the curtain on OnlyFans and show you the 5 ways these girls go from working a normal job to flying private or doing whatever the fuck they want.
But how do we know? What you don't see is behind the scenes, me and Cole are working day and night to take girls like Camilla from less than $10,000 a month to multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per month with our management.
The first thing you need to know is to have a personal one-on-one relationship with your client, and the best way to do this is by not calling them your client. They're your business partner, not your client.
No, OnlyFans management is way different than any other business model because you're not working with clients. You're not signing the local hardware store to run their Facebook ads and communicating with data points back and forth every week. And we learned this really fast. The first week into this business, I was trying to juggle managing OnlyFans girls with running YouTube channels and stuff. And I realized instantly if I wanted to have success in this business, I was gonna have to go all in because the upside is amazing. The revenue is amazing. The speed in which you can make money is amazing, but you have to be there for the person that you're working with in all aspects. There is a lot of emotion that goes into this. People ruin relationships with their family. People get a lot of hate online. That's new to a lot of people. People say horrible shit. And at the end of the day, it's very personal. They're, involving sending, pictures of their body, and not personally, but like there's sensitive topics involved with this business, and you need to be there for the person and you need to be communicative. Even on a business standpoint, you have to be, talking, checking up on them on every single piece of content, not just like, oh, once a week, check in. How are you doing? Doing well? Okay, I'm gonna go back to running your OnlyFans. No, it has to be, okay, we're making this content this week. Let me check up, make sure it was done well. And am I running the back end properly? Keeping them updated with everything. And it has to be more of a personal relationship, and communication goes a lot farther because sometimes the biggest issue people have with their business partner is not the money. They're not worried about, oh, I'm not making enough money. It's, oh, I'm not getting enough attention or not getting enough respect.
Honestly, I think whether you're working in person with your creator or remote, there's ways to have success either way. Obviously for us, we were in person, very hands-on with everything. And I think that did in fact help a lot and contribute a lot to the success that we've had on social media. There's just something about the vibes of literally filming content when you're all together there, coming up with ideas in person that you just can't necessarily replicate online. You can get close, like you can video call with your creators, you can FaceTime them, you can talk, you can joke around, you can, check in on them every day if you have to, but something about being in person is just different, and it's way better and it's more fun for everyone involved. And honestly, the biggest thing is when you're in person, there's not as much of a question on whether or not you're doing the work, because when you're actually sitting there in front of the creator, giving them ideas, filming their TikToks, doing this and that, they're literally seeing you in action working, and it's like there's no question whether you're putting in the effort that they want you to be. So by no means can you not make it work online, but it definitely is better to be in person.
When we physically can't work with the model in person, like they just live, far away, but we still see the potential enough to make the business relationship work. Like I said in the beginning, we just really reinforce communication. We are in communication every day about strategy as well as 24/7 running the back end of the account, right? So we'll take on the account, we'll set up a chat where you have one-on-one access to, talk to us, ask us any questions, mainly used for, content strategy and video ideas. The OnlyFans is being ran. That, a lot of models don't want to be hands-on with their OnlyFans. That's the part of the business that is the reason why so many agencies have succeeded at scale to sign 200, 300 creators, because they just run the back end and don't focus all on social media. But, the biggest leverage we have is our social media strategies, and that's kind of how we got big in the industry, and that's how we grew people like Camilla and Julia. And, we're starting now to expand and try to bring those strategies to people at scale and to people that we don't have to literally live with like we did with, Camilla and Julia. So we're reinforcing communication, setting up a call with, everyone in the agency who's remote, literally introduced everyone, see if there's possibilities if we have 2 girls in the same state, if they can collab. And, we like to not only be the main source of information, we brought on other people to help communicate with girls. We brought on other girls to just, talk to each other, bounce ideas among each other, and provide them with every resource and feedback they need to make sure they're doing everything themselves correctly. And we also try to position another person in place with them, whether it's their friend, their mom, their fucking butler, whatever it is, to film content for them and have another person there who's also learning content strategies alongside them, who we, help train and allow to be a part of their management and their calls and their learning of our content strategies, because it's only going to better their brand. If you have somebody in person with you to film videos, know the angle, know how to get the right lighting, and also hold you accountable for filming. So it's really just communication, access to us, and an accountability partner in person, so you never feel alone.
I think one of the most important things is having a bit of friendship with your creator, because honestly, why would somebody want to work in an environment, right, where there aren't friends with their coworkers? It's the same thing at the end of the day. Like, you want them to be excited to film, to talk to you, to come up with ideas. They want to feel heard when they come up with a concept idea. You don't want to just, shut them down or be strictly business. If they make a joke, you can make a joke back. Obviously, be respectful, don't be weird, but like, you're not dealing with robots, you're dealing with humans. So if you're not treating anyone like a human, what are you doing? You need to be funny. You need to show your own personality, because at the end of the day, that also, if they like you as a person, they're more likely to stay with you as a creator. If you're a manager that they like, there could be somebody better at being a manager than you are, but if they like you and they're happy and they get along with everyone involved, then you don't have to worry about losing them as a client. So yeah, don't be afraid to be a little funny. People like that. The second thing is surrounding yourself with people who are more knowledgeable than you right now.
We thought we could just figure it out at the beginning, and don't get me wrong, we made it pretty far, but if you don't know our story, our background was in social media. We got into this because we were doing, our own social media, and I had a bunch of subscribers on YouTube. I had like 3.5 million subs on YouTube. I knew how to make videos. I was good with content ideas, but I knew nothing about how to run an actual OnlyFans account and the back end with, chatting, mass messages, and the whole nine. So at the start, we were working with agencies, and we bounced from a bunch of different agencies to run the OnlyFans, and then we would take our percentage just from promoting them on social media, the girls, right? So we're doing well, and this is not just super low level stuff. I'm talking like a year and a half into it, when we were doing probably combined almost $1 million a month as an agency. We got to a point where we started to look into things. We're like, okay, we're making enough money now. We should probably take this in-house. We should learn how to run the account, because we had been gaslit by these agencies into thinking that we had to work with them and that they were doing this insanely complex strategy on the back end that we could never replicate without years of experience. And we fortunately met people who were bigger than us because we wanted to do collabs. There were girls who were big. We had grown Camilla and Julia to be pretty big. We ended up collabing with the other creators. And, thankfully, we met these people who had been in the space for longer that were able to give us insight on the fact that we were essentially getting fucked. And we lost, up to probably $10 million in 2024 because we were using a chatting agency to run the OnlyFans account. And we were funneling multiple hundreds of million people in traffic to these accounts in that year, and the accounts were not optimized properly. We didn't know the true potential of the business we were running, and we were, overpaying and being horribly underserved. And then from that point on, we chose to work with these people who had gave us this insight to help build that side of the business. And without trusting somebody else and just going out of my way to ask questions and being curious, not having an ego and chasing growth and knowledge over revenue in the moment, I was willing to share a percentage of the revenue we were making. I was willing to take a smaller cut for myself, and it ended up paying off infinitely because I brought somebody who knew more, not about promotion. I was better at social media. I was better at promotion. I already did that shit. But they were like, oh my God, this promotion should be making so much more money. So we brought that person into the business, and that, over tripled our earnings. And, that's what really took stuff to individual creators making $1 million in a month, and the overall, agency being what somebody else can do, pretty good at social media, halfway outsourced, not that valuable, to, a massive powerhouse in the space. Was, learning information, staying curious, and then bringing on the right partner.
And if you want us to mentor, shameless plug, maincharacter.com in the description. But back to the video for now.
And the third thing is that content is key to your operation, and you need to be pushing out as much content as humanly possible.
The way that we successfully pump out the amount that we do is by picking content styles that are really easy to sit down and get a lot of videos at once. For example, if you're doing Omegle content, you can sit down on a computer for 2 hours and get, 50 videos in the span of those 2 hours. Interviews, you can have a list of questions, go back and forth from person, ask multiple questions to each individual, and at the end of the night, get sometimes over 100 videos. Skits, too. Come up with an entire list of, funny jokes or pickup lines or whatever it might be, and you just crank them out one by one. So we've even done this where we have multiple creators there on the same day, and we'll go, boom, 25 videos with one. Another creator, boom, same exact list of videos. And then now it's like you have 2 different creators who deliver the line differently to pump out on social media, and it's really that simple. You just don't want to pick content that requires, days to produce. Like, people get so hung up on making videos and will try to spend weeks sometimes on a really good high produced YouTube short, but it's great. It could perform well, it could not, but you just spent all that time making that one video that you could have, had videos for the entire year in theory.
Video content is not always about the thought process behind it. We used to spend an hour scripting the perfect YouTube short with a hook and a body and a CTA and a payoff, and have it end up getting, 50K views, when in reality, a video that took 30 seconds to think of will pull millions.
One time we were at an Apple store in LA, and there was a QR code saying "want head," and we filmed filmed a skit off the dome and pulled 100 million views combined on platforms, of course.
You just can't be a perfectionist. You have to get shit out no matter what. And if you overthink and try to overanalyze, that's literally the biggest killer in any business, honestly.
This works if you're remote too, by the way. You don't have to be in person to film a lot of content at once. Same thing applies if you're remote, right? Send them the list of the skits and say, hey, pick one of your friends and just go out to a park or a mall or wherever it might be and just film all these videos. They now don't have to go through the effort of writing the skits down or thinking about what videos to do, because you give them, here's a location, go do these 10 videos here, go do these 20 videos there, whatever it might be. Same thing with Omegle. Give them the questions, give them the site, literally have them go in your text, just click a link and then give them directions on how to screen record. Like the more information you just give them, it leaves nothing up to guesswork, right? If you just give them the exact questions, the exact sites, step-by-step thing on what they can do, it's gonna cut their time when they're actually making the videos in half. You can even give them what outfits to wear. Say, wear this outfit, do this hairstyle. It takes stress off of them as a creator so that they can then go into the day and film, you know, they could get like 200 videos out in a day if they're just an absolute grinder. And like, you just give them a bunch of different styles to sit down and do for a few hours. So yeah, it's the same exact thing as being in person. You just have to, you know, adapt it digitally and send it over a text.
And I just don't think, you know, no matter what area of promotion you go, whether you're promoting on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, like there's no way to promote an OnlyFans effectively at that scale without content. Like the content is always king and it always will be. Even with black hat promotions and bots and AI, the root of it is content. You need something to catch people's eyes, and then they need a reason to go from that piece of content to the OnlyFans. And that can only be developed with a personality or a backstory. And sometimes that takes time. It can't be replicated by a prompt, and it can't be completely, you know, done for you without a good video and a good concept. Even an AI video needs a good prompt, which needs context.
Even if you have a faceless creator, you still need to come up with a good concept that still sets them apart from somebody else, because that's even harder to market. Yeah, even like if you're doing a black hat Reddit strategy, you still need good pictures. You need to have a good, vibrant, clear photo, because if it's dog shit, no one's even gonna want to watch it, regardless of how many phone farms you have pushing it out. The fourth lesson, obviously we said content's king, but specifically you have to develop a key specific personality to the creator to separate their content.
I think at the start, it's really intimidating if somebody's never done content for social media before, because there's a lot of girls who maybe have only ever taken pictures and they might have a good personality, but you need to find the, you know, areas in which they perform best, because you can obviously follow the lead of some creators, but you can't force somebody to do something they're naturally not good at if they're really bad at it. And sometimes this goes for like how it looks physically or how they act, right? Like there's certain content that needs more talking than others. Like if they're interviewing strangers or talking on Omegle versus like, you know, a skit where they're only saying 1 or 2 words, those can be used if somebody, you know, doesn't have much conviction, or, you know, they can just play like a ditzy character. They don't have to be witty and funny. And then, you know, if somebody physically doesn't like the way they look with their whole body on frame, you know, you can do Omegle content or text to speech content where they, you know, they have to portray more of a personality because they, you know, aren't showing as much physically. You balance it out. You have to experiment with as much as you can as fast as possible, because you want data. And you just need reps. You need to get content out there, study what you did well, and then rinse and repeat it. But at the end of the day, you should be starting out trying everything that they're comfortable with doing, and come back, rinse and repeat. And then there'll probably be like 2 or 3 formats that worked well, they look good, feel good, confident in, and it's fun to repeat for them, you know, as the creator. And then you just double down on those. But again, you can't learn shit by just trying to be like, oh, let me just ask her, let's just have a long call about what content to try. You gotta fucking try it. You gotta go do it. You have to execute. If you overanalyze something like that for even longer than a day, you're just cooked. NGMI, bro. Like you're fucked. You have to just run. You have to just go make content.
If you're someone who's worried about how the internet is going to view your content, honestly, you kind of should be. The internet's ruthless, but like that's just part of it, right? Like no matter who you are, you could be the most perfect person ever. Somebody will find something to say always. So genuinely, if you want to be successful online, no matter what your niche is, you just kind of have to get over that hurdle, like mentally, and just realize that all attention's good attention. Whether it's hate comments or good comments, it's still engagement. It's still boosting your views. And you know, people hate publicly before they like publicly. So you might get only hate comments, but your account's gonna grow and your OnlyFans is gonna grow and you're gonna be making money. And you might only see the hate, but people are just more scared to publicly like anything, regardless of the type of content. Like even for our own content, there's tons of haters. But then also every single day, if I get a viral video that gets mostly hate, I'll get a ton of followers that didn't comment or like or anything like that. Like you can't get too hung up on it. And every single creator that we work with gets hate. Doesn't matter what you do. And honestly, if you're not getting hate, you're not doing anything right. So if you're going into this field, you have to be prepared for it, and just honestly just realize the internet's ruthless. It always has been, always will be. You just can't get hung up on it. You'll be fine.
We've had a lot of hurdles that we've had to cross with new people and learning what content styles work best. Like, we started with Andy. She was not necessarily somebody who was like, I want to do social media, you know, before all of this. She was somebody who started OnlyFans and was promoting it in, you know, random ways. And then she was like, I just want to make as much money as possible. I'll do whatever you say. And it's been 2 years now. If you go cross-reference her very first talking videos, she was, you know, kind of shy, doing interviews with strangers, like not really having much of a response. But now she'll go on Omegle, she'll like banter back and forth with people. Some of her most viral content ever is her talking and communicating with people. And then there was somebody like Julia, who's, you know, she always kind of liked being on camera. She would do photo shoots. She used to model. She's naturally like a very talkative person, but she didn't want to talk to strangers. She didn't want to go, you know, do any of these formats where we're relying on other people for content. So we, you know, built a strategy where we switched it really heavily focused on her. And I think it actually helped her grow fast because we weren't doing these viral concepts that were like, oh, this video went viral because this guy she interviewed said some crazy shit. Because at the end of the day, there's a massive viewership in those videos that aren't going to subscribe. So she grew a little bit, you know, slower at the start after her initial blow up. Obviously, she blew up like overnight on TikTok from Camilla's podcast. But then when it came to building the real brand on her own, slow and steady, it was slow and steady because all the content was about her. But in turn, every single new follower followed because of her, which means they were more likely to be an OnlyFans subscriber. And, you know, at the ratio she's at, overall, she actually has less followers on Instagram per se than Andy, but she has a little bit more of a loyal fan base. And, you know, but Andy's bigger, right? Andy has more subscribers on OnlyFans and more followers on Instagram. So it's like there's these pros and cons of different strategies. And that's again why when people ask, oh, is this better? Is this better? You know, is this content better than this? No content is better than other content. There's pros and cons, but they all get you to the same place. And they might come with visibly different metrics. But again, every metric besides just money is vanity, right? Like a view doesn't matter if it's not a paying sub. A subscriber / follower on social platforms doesn't matter unless it's a paying sub. A like, a comment, a share doesn't matter unless it's a paying sub. So only track the metrics that matter and then just find a way around everything else. And the fifth thing is keeping momentum up when something works, because the last thing you want is to have something hit and then fall off and then you're just chasing that high forever. When it's going, you got to keep your foot on the gas.
When it comes to social media, if you have a video that gets 50 million views on a page, why would you ever see the 50 million views and go, oh my God, cool, I'm going to take the next month off and then never do the video again? No. The reason we're so successful is because we have a video that has success. We're doing it again the very next day to post it the very next day too, and just literally milk it till it stops. Whether even not even filming the same video, we'll re-upload the same video, re-edit it, like just do anything to keep that momentum up. If something's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like it's the oldest saying of all time. If you have a video concept working or something about our personality that's working or a trend that's going really crazy on Instagram, literally do it every single day, even multiple times a day until the trend dies. When transformation videos and like glow up trends were happening on Instagram, we were doing a glow up video every freaking day on every account. For every girl we managed, we just had them send us baby pictures and did a different version, and they were hitting. Ashton Hall videos. We did Ashton Hall get ready with me videos. He still rips them to this day with all of our creators, and they hit on every single one. Because we saw it work and we like, okay, if it worked on them, it's gonna work on them too. It's like, why would you ever just like have something work and then go, yep, that was cool. That's so sick.
Head out.
I can't wait for that to happen again. Just do it again. What are you doing?
Dude, I saw somebody comment on one of my pictures where I gave that exact same advice and they were like, man, a real creative isn't chasing the numbers like that. You're just being inauthentic.
And how much money do you make,
like,
brother?
It's
starving actor syndrome.
Yeah, starving artist. Like,
syndrome.
shut the fuck up, bro. This is a business. It's not about creativity. We are very creative people. We're so good at coming up with ideas and storytelling and fucking singing, bro. We're artists at the end of the day.
Who's the guy that painted the ceiling? Was that Michelangelo? Who's the one that cut off his ear?
Yeah.
If that motherfucker could paint 100 ceilings a day, bro, he wouldn't have stopped. You think he just did it once and was like, oh, that's sick? No, that motherfucker died up there because it took so damn long. But no, if he could, he would have. I swear, anybody would.
I'm posting 4 videos a day on Reels alone. If I was trying to do that with 4 individual concepts planned and thought out
that you
every
had
single
a
day.
board for with the little strings connecting.
Dude, let me see. Let me script that out word
What's
for
the
word.
color theory like on this Omegle video? Shut up.
I just don't like when people, and again, I'll just fucking repost the same video. The exact same one. You would really hate that.
I took a video you did on Julia's page and I remixed it, put an emoji off screen, and it pulled 50K.
It's a numbers game, bro. It's a numbers game, and you can't be overly creative. Like I know people in real life in this industry struggling and losing their positions because they can't conform to logic over creativity, and they won't make a good social media strategy because they're so focused on making one good video, and you're just not gonna make it, bro. If we would have stopped the momentum we had the second Camilla had her first viral video, none of this shit would have happened. Like, it was down to, oh, she interviewed her brother went viral. Next fucking week, that motherfucker is at Disney World with the damn Mickey ears on, licking a fucking lollipop, getting asked the same question again. There's lore building, everything builds on top of each other. That video then reinforces the topic. She's now known 3 years in the future for that girl with the brother. And then other things. In that same video where he asked the question, is it pink? We fucking leverage that and use that phrase, is it pink, in hundreds of other videos. She goes on a podcast and talks about how she dyes it pink, and we build a whole other section of lore off that. Wraps the car pink when she buys her first dream car, makes the license plate, it's pink, uses that all for content. Like, there's so much that just compounded on top of each other, because as soon as one thing happened, we never let off the gas. Like, the one thing I can say about the social media industry, whether you're doing content yourself or managing somebody else, is there's two levels to the game. There's the level of trying to make it and throwing darts at the board, trying to hit that fucking bullseye for your first viral video. And then there's being on the top. Once you have a level of momentum to where you have some followers and you have some money coming in, you just have to stay consistent at the bare minimum and you will always grow. Because consistency is growth compared to the people who are just stop, right? Like, if you look at some big influencers who you probably know their name, maybe they were big a couple years ago, they'll just go 2 or 3 days without posting a reel at a time. And they'll just, not continuously make content. And that's the reason why what we have done in the last 2 years has overlapped many of the biggest creators, even in a provocative industry. We've built massive influencers in an industry where they try to tear these influencers down, in an industry where they limit the posts, they limit the reach, they limit the topics that we talk about. We've still grown.
Our pages and we still come up.
They still have beat out these traditional influencers because of the pure volume that we're putting out and the repetition and the momentum and the formats being repeatable. Like, just all these key elements have been able to literally beat out celebrities in terms of notoriety, views, growth within the last couple of years. And this applies to any platform. As soon as you get on, as soon as that fire starts going, all you have to do is put more fucking wood on it.
We would genuinely be years behind where we are today if we did not keep that momentum up. I actually I don't want to think about it. Honestly.
It's terrifying.
It's scary. It's sad. It's disgusting. We have done so much past 3 years that people spend literal decades, if not an entire lifetime, trying to accomplish because they just simply don't have the discipline or the.
But it's like, you're just cooked, bro. What are you doing? Like, just work harder. I don't understand. Like,
I can't understand people starting out social media and they're like, I think I'm gonna do 2 videos a week. If you just did two videos a day, you're literally doing it 7 times as fast.
Yeah.
Like just genuinely, just think about it. Oh my God. I can't lie. This video has so much value in it.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody just watched this one video, they could genuinely come for us.
I want the outro to be
Those are the 5 tips that I think are most relevant to, newbies or people who have been in the space for a while. But if you want any specific information, you want to learn from us directly or work with us as a creator, go to maincharacter.com. It's linked in the description. Thanks for watching.